Myself Shivani Mishra, and today's webinar topic is on how can energy work transform your life. So I welcome today's speaker, Giulio Saltelli, and
Welcome.
first I would yes, first I would like to just give a brief introduction about India's today's history, something special about today's India's history. So today is 5th September and it is the birth anniversary of Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. He was an Indian scholar, teacher, philosopher, statesman, diplomat who served as India's first vice president and second president of India. Radhakrishnan was awarded several high awards, including a knighthood in 1931, Bharat Ratna in 1954, and honorary membership of British Royal Order of Merit in 1963. So, as per Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, quote, books are the means by which we build bridges between the cultures. So now I would like to introduce about the speaker. He is an instructor of martial arts, meditation, energy work, and spirituality, founder of Spirits Arts Academy, practitioner of martial arts since childhood, and passionate in the study of philosophy and spiritual traditions from all over the world. At the age of 19, he went on his first trip to China to explore the ancient Taoist tradition, where he spent 3 years studying and coaching at 5 immortal temples under the guidance of Abbot Du Song Fang. At age 23, he returned to Europe and founded Wudang Tianma, now Spirits Arts Academy, and he is holding courses, workshops, and retreats on Tai Chi, Qigong, Kung Fu, and Taoist meditation until today. I am honored. So, as per the speaker's statement, he conveyed that I am honored to be the part of this global movement that is bringing forward a new consciousness for humanity to continue walking towards the future in a more harmonious and peaceful way. So, a brief about energy healing technique. So, this is Qigong. It is centuries old system of coordinated body posture and movement breathing and meditation used for the purpose of health, spirituality, and martial arts training. So Qigong, it translated as life energy, and it uh, typically practice involves meditation and coordinated slow flowing movement, deep rhythmic breathing, and a calm meditative state of mind. So a Tai Chi is a form of exercise that began as a Chinese tradition, and it's based on in martial arts and involves slow movements and deep breaths. Tai Chi has many physical and emotional benefits. Some of the benefits of the Tai Chi includes decreased anxiety, depression, and improvements in cognition. And the Taoist meditation includes Taoist meditation, also spelled as Taoist, refers to traditional meditative practices associated with the Chinese philosophy and religion of Taoism, including concentration, mindfulness, contemplation, and visualization. So now I would like to introduce about Cureya. So Cureya primary objective is health for all and provide accessible, affordable and quality healthcare system by reducing the medical expenditure and eliminating the information asymmetry, promoting health awareness and achieving inclusive, holistic approach for the healthcare treatments. You can visit Cureya on following website, Facebook, WhatsApp, YouTube, Twitter link, Instagram, LinkedIn, and even email us on info@cureya.in. So we provide following online services that conduct webinars for the doctors and practitioners. You can visit our webinar pages on the website. You can also book an appointment with the doctor, and here come with the upcoming services of e-commerce platform. So you can visit our website and just check out these services. These are the previous webinars we have already conducted, and you can visit our YouTube channel, that is Cureya Health, and just look at whichever topic is suitable. You can just go through these webinars. So a quote for the day is: energy healing is based on the supposition that illness results from disturbances in the body's energy and energy fields, and can be addressed via intervention into those energies and energy fields. Jet Diamond, thank you. And now I'd like the speaker, sir, to carry on with the webinar. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'm very glad, I'm very honored to be
Thank
here
you,
today. Should I share my screen already?
sir.
Yes. Okay. Here we are. Well, thank you everyone again, and especially to the Cureya staff and platform for inviting me to give this webinar today. I'm very excited to be here and to share about these practices, which are in the end my life passion, what really motivates me in my day-to-day. And I have found them really deeply helpful also in my personal life as well as with others. So today's topic will be about energy work, and especially on how transformative energy work can be for our lives and for our health. And this presentation will also work as an introduction for a course that we are programming to do on the Cureya platform. This will be a 4 classes program that I have designed to give you the most efficient, the most basic foundational tools for you to be introduced in the practice of energy work or Qigong. So we will have theory and practical content. The practical content you will be invited to practice every day for a period of 4 weeks. So it will be 1 session per week, and every week we will talk about the practices that we have done, how to integrate them, and go to the next step. In this way, we will be able to build step by step a very solid base for a Qigong practice, giving you the ability to start to perceive energy at first with your hands, around your body, in the natural energy surrounding you, be able to start to distinguish various qualities of energy, and of course to do very efficient, very useful work using this energy that can be for improving health, for understanding more about ourselves, our life direction, and having more guidance about where we want to move in our life as well, obtain information from our inner guide. So all this and more are the content of this course that I'm really looking forward to offer on this lovely platform. Again, thank you very much for this opportunity to everyone. So moving forward, well, I have prepared a little introduction about myself, but also the speaker already have given some very nice introduction. So to repeat just briefly, my name is Giulio. I come from northern Italy. And yes, my formation, my base, or also how I got first in touch with all these practices was through martial arts. And this started when I was very young, actually, also because my father was an instructor in martial arts. And so he passes to me his passion. And this is how I first got in touch with these disciplines. What happened next was when I was 18, I got first in touch with the practices of energy work. And well, I immediately fell in love with these practices. I was really blown away by how accessible and how tangible, how real these practices can be. You know, in In my culture, when I grew up, all these things seemed very far away. They're not taken very seriously by society. They are often even ridiculed. And after just a few sessions, being able to feel the energy between my hands was such a life-changing experience, because it proved to me in a very experiential way that there is so much more that we don't know. There's a whole other level of existence that is out there. And this really changed completely the perception I had of reality and the possibility let's say I see and I continue to see until today in the energy work and in the understanding of the energy level, a possibility, a chance for a very profound transformation for humanity at the level of consciousness, at the level of health, and also at the level of society. So this is why I took, let's say, as a mission for myself to study and to spread in the limit of the best of my abilities to share information about the practice of energy work. Also, I'm founder of Spirit Arts Academy, as the speaker already mentioned, and holding retreats and seminars as this one since already a few years. Yes, moving forward already without losing too much time to the presentation. We start with the word Qigong. Well, first of all, the presentation is about energy work, but we will use here today instead the word Qigong. It is simply the Chinese word for saying energy work. Qi means energy or life force or breath, a bit similarly to the Indian word prana, or even to the word spirit. It has also some connection in the sense of meaning to this word. And Gong means work, skill, ability. So Qigong is that disciplines that aim to build this ability to feel and to work with the energy. It is a very ancient discipline that developed since, well, thousands of years before Christ. It is very difficult to point a beginning of this tradition since it's so far back in time. Of course, there are many students who have very different opinion about this topic, as always. And yes, also it is a very broad discipline. It has many different branches, many different purposes, many different methods. So today I will try to give you as much as possible an overall image so you can have an idea in general about what this practice is about, what are the various types of this practice, and also what are the philosophical and concepts that are behind it. And well, first of all, the first thing that I think it's important to say, to contextualize a little bit the practice of Qigong, is that this is a practice that emerged from Taoism. And Taoism is an ancient tradition that is native to China, that has many points in common with many other culture of more or less that period. So let's say the first thousands of years before Christ, we can more or less say the beginning of this culture. And in this tradition, the most important central topics were the reverence, the respect, the veneration of the forces of nature. Mother Nature was seen as this life-giving entity, and so it was really important for these cultures, the connection with nature, the connection between the human and nature, and also harmonizing ourselves with nature and with her cycles. Nature was so highly seen, also life, of course, was very valued. And this is why in Taoism, longevity, healing took a very big role in this tradition. And the concept was that if the human manages to harmonize and to unify with the cycles, with the wisdom of nature, he or she will be able to live much longer and to access deeper levels of wisdom, of love, of being, that by connecting with nature, he will be able to discover more about his own original nature, that the nature, the deep nature of human and the nature of the universe are connected and are the same. So this is also to understand the context of the development of this practice. Here on the screen, we have movement, breathing, visualization. I use this as a way to kind of summarize the main tools that we use in the practice of Qigong. So of movement, we refer to physical movement. If you have seen Qigong, or maybe perhaps you have seen Tai Chi, which is still a bit more well-known worldwide, you have already an idea of how this movement tends to look like. They are movement done by standing and moving very softly, the hands maintaining a constant speed. And like if you are caressing, this a bit looks like caressing the air. This is how it may look like. There is obviously a very broad variety of movement that are completely different. Some look more like stretching, some more like stillness meditation, some are more intense, similarly to martial arts. We will speak more in detail about different types of movements when we will talk about the different types of Qigong. Breathing. Breathing is fundamental aspect. Also the word Qi, as I said, means breath. And we have different types of breath in Qigong, similarly to yoga, to channel the energy to move along certain pathways, or to, let's say, make the energy take some qualities, to make it more calm, to make it more active, more strong, to make it flow in certain specific ways. Yes, excuse me? All good. A little technical thing.
So please continue.
Yeah. Yes?
Please continue, sir.
Yes. Okay. Yes, the third method will be visualization, and this is also a very fundamental pillar of this practice. And the use of the mind, the use of the intent is key. So it is said in Qigong that where the mind goes, the Qi flows. So our mind, normally, it's like they say, like a monkey, is going everywhere, and our energy is flowing in the direction where our mind is going. And our mental activity can be a very depleting type of thing. They say that the brain has a very high expense of energy. And in this sense, also, with the practice, we want to gain the ability to control and to use the intent as a fine and strong tool so that we're able to stop it if we need it to stop, or we are able to direct it towards specific goals when we need to. And so to be able to visualize with a greater intensity, with a greater precision. And, in this way, the more we will be able to have a strong and focused intention, the more we will be able to move great quantities of energy toward that specific goal. So these are the three main pillars of the practice of Qigong. Passing to the next slides, we have here the types of Qigong. Again, here we are doing, let's say, work of summarizing to try to make it more simple to understand. There are a lot of types of Qigong, but I have divided here in three main categories, also to be more easily comprehensible. So the first category is the one that we will speak about less today. It's not really the main topic of today's class, but I think still it is important to mention the martial Qigong. So this has different purposes, mainly the purpose of strengthening the body for martial purpose. So to be able to take a blow and not be so easily injured, or to be able to be more strong and, let's say, break objects. Maybe you have seen some of these amazing demonstration of power, that some monks breaking bricks with their hands and trainings like this. So what I would like to mention that I think it's relevant for our topic today is that Also, these methods that are not specifically for health still can be used in a maybe a little bit different way, still for the purpose of health. And this is because these methods have very intense breathing and very intense movement and self-heating movement often, and these have a very powerful effect of strengthening the body. And this can be very useful as it puts stress on the nervous system, on the glands, on the whole body, increasing its resistance and creating a very strong energy field. Also, at the level of the character, it creates a very centered, stable, and strong, upright type of energy in the person. And this is also used to expel a disease such as cold and damp, which in Chinese medicine are seen as pathogenic external factors, and also is used to increase the strength of the defensive system. That in Chinese system, it is related to the organs of the lungs, and it's called Wei Qi, defensive energy, and it is imagined as let's say the most external cape of the energy field is works to filter and to defend one from the influence of the outside. This is also very useful, for example, if you want to become able to become less affected negatively by the circumstances. For example, if you live in a city and there is a lot of stress around you, you want to build a strong and solid energy field to be able to be not affected as much by the energy field of the city, of the people around you. So, for example, if somebody has negative thoughts around you of rush, stress, all these type of things to maintain your own vibration. Passing to the next type of Qigong, this is the healing Qigong, and this is the main topic of today's discussion. It is also a very broad topic, and we will speak more in detail about this one later. For now, I would just like to say that it is a type of practice that aims to work on health on many different levels. So we can summarize these levels as working on the physical level to improve the physical health, but also to improve the health of the mind and of the emotional body. So these three levels, the physical, emotional, and mental, is a, let's say, distinction that is often used in Qigong to consider three different manifestations of energy who compose the human body, which are from the more dense, the physical, to the most subtle, the mental. And it's different type of energy who affect each other, who transform in each other. And it is believed that illness can start, for example, from the mind and then manifest into a physical illness, or the opposite. From a physical illness, one can develop an emotional condition, which then develops into also a mental issue. So for the healing, the Qigong and in general the Taoist medicine, which is, let's say, a more broad category, tries to heal and to work on these three aspects at the same time in a more organic way. For the spiritual Qigong, this Qigong is using the practice of energy work as a tool to enter more in depth in the exploration of one's deeper nature. So where for the other styles of Qigong, one uses the practice of feeling and moving energy in the first case to become stronger, in the second case to become healthier. In the third case, we could say to obtain information about his true essence and to connect at a deeper level with the Tao, which is considered the source of life, with the deeper aspects, with the deeper levels of this reality. So this practice could be seen as a practice of looking in, sinking down, and exploring different layers of what we are, who we are. Obviously, all these three levels of practice are very related. Often they are connected, they are mixed, and they definitely do benefit each other. Practicing one does benefit the other. For example, even if you practice the martial training, if you are able to build a strong, a stable energy field, then that will be able, it will enable you to more easily maintain your health, but also to maintain your direction and to have more clarity. And that will help you also in your spiritual path, where you need determination, where you need to have a focus, for example. So all these three aspects are very related. Though what we will do is mostly on the level of the healing Qigong and of the spiritual Qigong. And we will speak a bit later on how these two aspects are very linked, especially in the Taoist view of healing, how they are complementary and how they are fundamental to achieve a real healing, to really take in consideration also the deeper and the personal and this even the spiritual level of the issues that one is experiencing. So passing to the next slide, I would like to talk a little bit more about the purpose in general of the healing Qigong, but actually this could be extended to all the Qigong. As I said before, these are many practices and there's a lot of variety. So I have tried to make an effort to synthesize all these to concepts that are more dense, more condensated, that are more easy to digest. Still, obviously, taking consideration that what I'm sharing here is a simplification to make things more easy to understand, and is not the absolute truth of this case. So one idea that I like to summarize the purpose of this practice is to say that the practice of the Qigong practices in general is to increase the strength and the quality of the energy field. So increasing the strength is related to what we were talking about before. To have more power in your energy field means that you have first more energy to work with yourself. You can do more work, you can do more things, and secondly, you can be more able to maintain yourself, to be less affected from external factors that may have a negative influence. By this, we don't mean that one want to have a really strong field and seal oneself off from the outside and become like, have a barrier that stops him from connecting with the outside, but that one is able to discriminate how and when to connect and how to let the external influence affect him. Regarding the quality of the energy field, this is a very important aspect also. But before speaking about this, we must take a little step back and talk more about what is the energy field in the first place. So, well, to put it a bit simple also here, we consider the energy field of a person or an object the sum of all the vibration of all its components. For example, a person energy field in a certain moment will be the reflection of the vibration of his physical body, the vibration of his emotional body, the vibration of his mental body. What is he feeling? What is he thinking in that moment? What type of emotion is he going through? But also, beside what you are experiencing in that moment, also everything that is in the background will also be part of your field. For example, your belief system or the unconscious thoughts that you have, or for example, emotional traumas that you have experienced in the past that still affect you. Everything that either you're experiencing now or you have experienced in the past but is still having an even subtle influence now, all of that put together, we can say that makes up the mix of qualities, gives us the particular flavor, the particular color, we could say, of your energy field in that moment. So with the practice of Qigong, we can learn to better and better observe the energy field and distinguish the various qualities of the energy field and the qualities that compose those energy fields. And once we do this, we can understand how to regulate them. This is very important because our energy field not only determines how we are vibrating toward the outside and so how the others perceive us energetically, but also, even more importantly, our energy field determines a lot of how we experience reality. We can say, for example, your mood. By having a different mood, you can have a very different experience of reality. Two people can be in the same room, have the same external experience, but having a very different internal experience. Maybe one is in a great mood, one is in a horrible mood. They're having a very different experience in that moment. And I believe that in our life, we put a lot of effort to improve our outward circumstances, maybe to have a better life, have a better job, to find the perfect partner, to put everything in the outside world in a perfect place, which is great, of course, but not enough, in my opinion. We worry about finding a standpoint, finding an energetical point of view that allows us to have a better experience of what we are encountering now in our surroundings. So this brings us to the next point, the power of intent. And this also makes us understand how the practice of Qigong can transform our reality. So if you are able to understand which are the qualities that compose your field, which of these qualities are beneficial, are enriching you, and which of those qualities are holding you back, are limiting you, are not serving you anymore. And the more we can become able to transform and become responsible to choose how we want to vibrate, which vibration I feel inspired to hold, which type of vibration really makes justice to who I am, to who I want to be even more. And if we do this, the more we shift our vibration, the more we can access another level of experience. We can bring our whole life to a all new level. And this means just simply enjoying more, which I think is very important. Be enjoying more, to be more in peace, more excited about the positive things that we want to do in our life, be able to dream, to project positive and motivating images to build our future, being able to be inspired to change our habits and choose habits that are truly inspiring. And so changing our perspective then can help us to change our behaviors, our actions, and ultimately our whole life. So transforming our experience, transforming our health. How does this affect our health? Well, if we understand and we accept the fact that our mind state can affect our health, and this is very widely accepted nowadays, especially if we look at the negative aspects of it. If we think, yes, all good, I will continue. If we think about how a negative thoughts, how a negative experience can affect us, it can transform a beautiful day into a horrible day. It can even make us feel physical pain, just a thought. Maybe a preoccupation of something that it didn't even happen can transform our experience to the point that we can have physical pain. Or it can even affect us to the point of having a sickness. If we are constantly worrying about something, or if we have an event or a general type of situation that we are still holding on, is happening in our past, for example. All of this, if it stays for a long time in our energy field, it will have the time to settle down and become more and more dense, and eventually become part of our emotional system, become part of how our emotional system is every day. The baseline of our emotional system is affected by these things, and eventually even our health. So if the mind has the power to create an illness, then it also has the power to heal an illness. This is what I believe, of course. I don't aim to convince you of that. Hopefully, with taking the practice with an open-minded, one can convince itself about the power of our own mind. And yes, of course, then it depends only on how strong is your mind, how much power do you have, how much electricity. If you have a little bit of electricity, you can turn on a light bulb. If you have a lot of electricity, you can turn on a whole city. So depending on the power of your own mind, also depends the quantity or the size of the transformation you can achieve in the reality, the physical reality. And this is one main concept behind the practice of Qigong healing. So this leads us to the practice of Qigong healing and how the practice of Qigong is really important in Taoism for doctors. So Qigong for healers. So as I said, in Taoism, the practice of healing was considered fundamental, really important, because they was really cherishing life to a high degree. They were considering the most precious thing. They would really appreciate their parents, venerate their parents for having given them this life. And so they would try to maintain this life as long as possible and in the best condition as possible. And so it is said 9 out of 10 Taoists were healers. And in the Taoist medicine, of course, there are many, many branches, including acupuncture, as you know, massage, herbal medicine. There can be also medicine that is referred to as feng shui. Maybe some of you heard about it. Is using the energy of the geography, understanding the energy of the geography to create healing by arranging the structure of the home or the position of the home. There is music healing, there is numerology healing. There are really countless types of healing with cups, with fire, with needles, with scraping. So yes, this method I was studying in the temple, and still for all the Taoist doctors in the past, the practice of Qigong was considered somehow the most basic and the most fundamental aspect. So for example, you can be a doctor and specialize in any of these practices, but Qigong was considered somehow the base practice that all doctors need to be at least have reached a certain minimum level into. And yeah, actually, I think this is a very, very, very useful, very healthy way of approaching healing. Not necessarily with Qigong, of course, that's in the Chinese context, but in general, I think it is important that the ones who take care of health of others also practice to maintain the best their own health at first, cherish their own health at first. If I'm healthy, well, if I'm not healthy and I'm trying to help other people being healthy, I feel it is a bit less coherent. So it doesn't necessarily have to be with Qigong, but in general, I think it is important for a doctor to cultivate his own health. And this is the first reason why Qigong was so important for the doctor, especially if you're doing energy work and you're working with meridian, with all these things. It is very important to practice Qigong to clean your energy body. For example, if you do energy massage on somebody, you enter in contact a lot with their energy. And if you do 10 treatments in a day, you may have entered in contact with a lot of energy that is sick, and you may carry that in your field. So it is a practice for uh, any type of Qigong, or not even just Chinese medicine healer, to perform methods to cleanse one's own energy field, not to carry the energy of the patients in their life. Yes, this is definitely one of the purposes. Another very important one is to build the ability to listen. So, of course, the more I'm able to connect with the energy level and to observe the subtle movement in it, the more I will be able to develop my intuition, my sixth sense. And this really opens many doors for a healer to understand more about what is happening to the patient, even to feel what is happening inside the body of the patient. With the practice of Qigong, in the same way as one is able to feel inside of one's own body, it is possible to feel inside of the body of the patient. And this is actually surprisingly not so difficult as a practice, and is definitely huge, of course. So yes, all these abilities were considered fundamental. Then something that, yes, it is more difficult, more advanced, in my opinion, is healing directly with energy. And also this is the practice that, of course, in the West, it's the less well seen, let's say, the most seen with skepticism. But in China, still nowadays, they have entire hospitals only working with energy healing. So they have hospitals where they have no medicine, no needles, no type of nothing, and they only heal with energy. So they may be singing or using their hands, often not even touching the patients. And well, you can look for information for these centers. There is some amazing footages of them healing very strong disease. In particular, there is one that is very famous of a group of doctors removing a cancer from the gallbladder, I think, and in a really short time by performing some Qigong healing. Of course, you can doubt that the video may be not genuine. Of course, you have the right to doubt it, totally. But yes, this is, well, at least if you doubt it, I think it is interesting to take into consideration that in many, many cultures in the world, energy healing has been a thing, including in the past of Western culture, in Christianity, or in old ancient Asian culture, in American culture, in African culture. Energy healing existed in our past. So either our ancestors had a very similar imagination, or there must be at least some part of truth to it, in my opinion. But yes, definitely, I think that for now, modern science still doesn't completely have the instruments to observe what is going on with these practices. So it may observe maybe some benefits. For example, you can observe that with meditation, we can have some benefits on the brain waves and on the stress levels, and even on the pH, I think I read one time. But often these studies are debatable, and there's a lot of confusion, and I think it's still a field where there is a lot of space for research. And I'm sure in the future, science will more and more be able to comprehend and to put together the dots also of this ancient wisdom that were transmitted to us by our ancestors. So yes, yes.
Sir, can you just speed up this presentation because time is running out?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh my. Well, we are nearly finished. Thank you for reminding me.
Yes, sir.
How much time do we have, just to know?
Sir, 15 minutes.
How many, sorry?
Say 15-20 minutes. I can extend to like 20 minutes.
No, no, really, actually, I'm about to conclude. But thank you very much
Okay.
for letting me know.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yes, I will continue. So next, this actually it is really the last slide of this presentation. Um, to give you a bit more concrete idea about what we are doing in these practices, because we spoke today about what is the purpose of what we are doing, what is the context of what we are doing. And so here we're going to try to be a bit more concrete in a sense. How do these practices look like? Well, first of all, we have physical exercises. So there are many styles and many methods of Qigong, which could be considered somehow similar to a gymnastic, which includes stretching, which includes mobilization of the joints, especially many times is focused on opening, especially the hips and the shoulders, and above all, the spine. There are many exercises to maintain or increase the health of the spine, increasing the distance between stretching the vertebrae, being able to regain mobility in the spine that often becomes stiff. And it is believed that um, increasing the health in the spine is one of the fundamental factors to longevity, as it is considered in Taoism that the main energy channels that bring energy to the body are, some of them are passing in the spine, for example, the governor vessel, and also all the nervous system pass through the spine. And so it is very important to this for this to remain healthy, for the body to be able to live longer. Also all the system that connects all our organs to our brain, all the body is connected through the nervous system that passes through the spine. And so there is a lot of work to open the spine and open the shoulder and the hips, which are in the end the points where the spine connects with the limbs. Of course, the neck and the tailbone, all this, including all these parts. Yeah. Also in the physical exercises, there is a lot of emphasis on posture. So on building a aligned, correct, balanced posture. And I think this is very important. It has a very big effect on, on the energy field in general. It has a really big effect in shifting our perception of reality. And yes, definitely the work on opening the body and aligning the body, of relaxing the body, and there's a lot of work on the body in general. It is very important for the energy work. In specific, it is considered that the more the body is relaxed, the more the energy will be able to flow properly through the body. It is considered in Taoism that sickness is related to lack of flow. They say when there is flow, there is no pain. When there is pain, there is no flow. So with many of these exercise, we aim to open and relax some blockages in the body, allowing the energy to flow. And when it can flow, the body will naturally regulate itself. So this for the physical exercise aspect of it. Then we have the part that is more specifically based around energy. This is the part, as I said, that got me interested in the Qigong in the first time. And this is more focused on feeling and moving the energy. As I was mentioning before, feeling at first happens more in the hands, then around the body, and at first is more gaining the ability to perceive this level of reality, to perceive its density, to perceive its presence. And once you can perceive the energy, also this becomes learning to feel the different qualities of the energies. As we were mentioning before, this is very important and allows you to observe the different qualities of energy and also to obtain information from observing energy. For example, if you observe the energy of natural elements as the sky, for example, you can have information about the energetical quality of that natural element. And those qualities contain information that is containing a sort of wisdom inside of each natural element. Or, for example, if you can observe the energy composition of your own field, you can understand what elements in this field are being dissonant, which are resonant for you, which are harmonious, which are unharmonious, and so become able to regulate things on an energy level first. And this is really helping in life in general, because energy, feeling energy allows you to connect and to communicate with things on a level that is before the physical, on a level where everything is connected, and we're on a level where everything is more subtle. So it's more easy to move, it's more easy to transform. It is more easy to change something on the energy level first. And then when you change it on the energy level first, then you will go in your life and have less resistance when you want to actually change it in reality. This is definitely very important, very amazing aspect that the energy work can do, can open many doors for you. Also for understanding more and where and what you want to do. And final part of this is also related to the previous part, is the introspection. And these type of practices are more, let's say, practice of self-analysis, and where we try to be as honest as possible with ourselves and understand our limitation, what we could do better, what we could do less, what we could do more, understand also which part of ourselves we feel deeply inside that are worth nourishing, and with which parts of ourselves we are giving too much energy, but they are actually not worth it. So let's say all these three levels of practice are very related to each other, and they compose the practice of Qigong that is normally done, and it's also three main aspects that we will be working on in this course, giving you the tool to be able to more and more develop the ability to feel and use energy in your favor, which is, I think, in the case of my life, it has been game changing. And also for many of the people I have met and I've shared this practice with. So yes, that will be more or less it for this session. I hope I have been clear and not too much dispersive, and that I have answered the curiosity and the questions that you had on the topic of energy healing. Yes, here we are to the conclusion. Here you can see the webpage of Spirit Arts Academy, or the YouTube and Facebook, where you can find more information, a lot of free videos with content, with theory, with classes that is all accessible to you. Again, thank you very much to Cureya for inviting me here. And yes, for what I understand now, we have some time for questions. And yes, I would love to hear your questions, and will do my best to answer at the best of my abilities, at least.
Sir,
Thank
I
you
have
very
some
much.
questions.
Sorry?
I have some questions.
Yes, please.
Okay. What is the effect of Taoist meditation on fatigue and psychological stress in two people with a multiple sclerosis?
With multiple sclerosis.
Yes.
Okay. So, of course, the effect of Taoist meditation, as the same of any meditation, which really, in the end, I think that they are all related. The effect is beneficial, of course, and to the point that the person is able to carry on the practice without causing even more stress to himself. And of course, the healing potential of these practices depends on the circumstances and on the ability of the person who is conducting the practices. In general, especially with this type of pathologies, it is very beneficial to just be able to relax deeper and to gain, to access a more harmonious and balanced state of mind. And depending on the level of your practice, you may be able to slow down the progression of illness and hopefully even to stop the illness. So, I mean, in my experience with Taoist healing methods, I have experienced some pretty impressive and unbelievable at times healing processes. They were always in the cases where the patient really took a lot of uh, determination in taking his own healings in his own hands. And this is actually the aspect that I think it's most beautiful about this healing method, that gives the power and the tools to the patient to take back the healing in his own hands. So again, it depends on you. This is
Okay.
how I understand it.
Can people learn Qigong effectively from home?
Yes, yes, of course. The most important thing is to practice. So the methods are relatively simple to share, but the most important thing is to dedicate time and intention to practice it. That's why also in the course I will give you practices and I will invite you them to do them by yourself at home every day for a week, actually for the whole 4 weeks, and then you will build a foundation. Just hearing and understanding all the principles of the Qigong, sadly, is not enough to learn it.
Okay. Do people need any special equipment or clothing to do Qigong?
No, no, of course, if you have a very uncomfortable clothes, it's not ideal, but no, you don't need any specific clothes or any equipment really.
How do people become a certified Qigong instructor?
So, well, there are different ways. There are different schools who offer certifications for Qigong instructors. In my opinion, in the end, a certificate is a piece of paper. So, of course, I have a piece of paper that is telling me that I can teach Qigong, but what I consider even more valid than the piece of paper is me feeling that I have reached a level in the practice where I can share it. And hope usually it is actually better if your teacher who teaches you confirms that you have reached a sufficient level. So as you know, there are many ways to get certification for healing in a very fast way, and that often are maybe not necessarily equivalent to becoming a good healer. So again, it really depends on you and your practice. Let me ask you this: how long does it take to become a certified doctor or a certified lawyer or anything? It takes 5 to 9 years of your life. I don't know. Maybe if you study very hard, even a bit shorter, but it takes some time and it takes some dedication for anything you want to do in life.
So already the questions are over, and
Sorry? Yes.
the questions are over, and your presentation was too powerful and enlightening. Yes, because first time we could know that what is energy healing and how it can affect our mind and body and create a positive thinking and thoughts process that can heal the body. And second thing is how healers are connecting with the energy level of the patient. And I think this is the highest order to cure a disease.
Yes. Yes. It is. It is. I
So,
agree very much.
yes, sir. And now I would like to thank you, the participants and the speakers, to connecting with the webinar. And I would
Yes.
like, speaker sir, that if you want some concluding lines to be said.
Yes. Of course. Well, yes. I just wanted to thank everyone for participating in this webinar. For me, it's really an honor for people to dedicate their time to listen to what I have to say. And my deepest hope is that it has been useful for them and it has generated some curiosity for starting exploring themselves these methods, these practices. Um, Again, thank you very much to Cureya for giving this amazing possibility to us all, for me to share and for others to listen. And yes, best wishes and blessings to all for your lives.
Thank you, sir. And thank you to all the participants. So now I would like to just close this webinar session for today.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much again. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you.